What if tomorrow morning, satellite imagery confirms something no model predicted this fast? The Sahara Desert is no longer a desert. Rainfall patterns have stabilized. Vegetation spreads across millions of square kilometers. Rivers begin flowing where sand dominated for millennia. This is not a future projection. This is present tense. And within hours, every major power recalculates Africa's position in the global system. On paper, a green Sahara looks like a strategic breakthrough. Nearly 9 million square kilometers of land suddenly become productive. Agriculture expands at a scale unmatched in modern history. Food insecurity declines. Export potential rises. States that relied on imports begin supplying themselves. Growth forecasts surge. Demographics stabilize. The narrative shifts from dependency to leverage. But paper advantages are not operational power. The first constraint is infrastructure. Fertile land does not create roads, railways, ports, cold storage, or energy grids. These systems require decades, capital discipline, and institutional continuity. Without them, production remains local, inefficient, and vulnerable. A green Sahara without logistics is abundance without reach. The second constraint is governance. The Sahara spans more than 10 national borders. Borders designed for emptiness are not designed for value. As land becomes productive, questions multiply. Who controls water access? Who owns newly fertile territory? How migration is regulated? Without coordination, opportunity increases friction. Cooperation determines outcomes. Fragmentation multiplies risk. Then comes population movement. Millions move toward emerging zones of stability and employment. Cities expand faster than planning can support them. Food availability rises, but so do demands for housing, healthcare, security, and jobs. If institutional capacity lags behind growth, instability follows prosperity. External reactions are immediate. Europe faces a transformed southern neighbor with reduced dependency. Trade leverage shifts. Migration negotiations recalibrate. China accelerates infrastructure investment to secure long-term agricultural supply chains. The United States adjusts security and economic partnerships. Not because Africa becomes dominant overnight, but because potential changes balance. Military power, however, does not scale with rainfall. Sustained power depends on industrial capacity, technological depth, and organizational maturity. Agriculture generates wealth slowly. Defense capability requires concentrated capital, training systems, doctrine, and time. A greener Sahara strengthens long-term foundations, not short-term supremacy. Environmental limits also emerge. Large-scale greening alters atmospheric circulation. Rainfall shifts affect distant regions. Maintaining fertility requires water management, soil protection, and climate stability. If conditions reverse, dependence on new land becomes exposure. Resilience matters more than expansion. 3 realistic outcomes follow. In the first, coordination succeeds. Regional institutions manage water, land, and trade. Infrastructure expands gradually. Africa becomes a stabilizing economic force, not a military hegemon, but an indispensable supplier of food, energy, and strategic resources. In the second, fragmentation dominates. States compete over control. Borders harden. External actors exploit divisions. Growth exists, but volatility limits influence. Power remains uneven and contested. In the third, expectations outpace capacity. Investment surges, then retreats when timelines extend. Environmental stress compounds political pressure. The Green Sahara becomes a lesson in constraints, not dominance. The central truth remains unchanged. On paper, land creates power. In reality, systems sustain it. A Green Sahara would reshape Africa's trajectory, but it would not grant instant supremacy. Power is built slowly, tested constantly, and limited always. This is the kind of reality-based power analysis we break down on ThinkCell, where the next variable is already in motion.